Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. We begin with breaking news tonight. 2 people have been rushed to hospital following a fire in the area of Dufferin and St. Clair. Now, this is a live shot of the scene on Oakwood Avenue where a 2-alarm fire broke out in a house shortly after 9:30 tonight. Fire crews and police are on scene. Paramedics say a man was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries and a woman suffered serious injuries. They say 8 others were assessed for smoke inhalation. Crews say the main fire has been knocked down and they are now working to clear smoke from that house. And meanwhile, the recovery operation continues and an investigation is underway following a mid-air collision between a passenger jet and a military helicopter over at Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night. 64 people were on that American Airlines flight and 3 were in the chopper. Officials saying there are no survivors. Caroline Bargut has more.
This is the audio of air traffic controllers trying to warn a Black Hawk helicopter moments before it crashed into American Airlines Flight 5342. 60 passengers and 4 crew were on board the plane on its way to Washington from Wichita, Kansas. On the Black Hawk, 3 U.S. soldiers were on a night training exercise. 300 emergency responders rushed to the scene in a desperate search for survivors in the icy Potomac River.
Despite all those efforts, we are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation.
The National Transportation Safety Board has taken the lead on the investigation.
We do not know enough facts to be able to rule in or out human factor, mechanical factors.
Among the 67 dead, 14 were American skaters on their way back from a national development camp in Wichita, Kansas. 6 of them connected to the Boston Skating Club, including 16-year-old skater Spencer Lane and his mother Molly, 16-year-old skater Gina Ha and her mother Jin, and their coaches, former world champions Evgenia Yishkova and her husband Vadim Nomov, who won the world championship in pairs figure skating in 1994.
It's a close, tight bond, and I think for all of us, we have lost family.
The crash happened on the Transportation Secretary's first day. Sean Duffy promises officials will get to the bottom of it.
Everyone who flies in American skies expects that we fly safely, that when you depart an airport, you get to your destination. That didn't happen last night.
Without evidence, U.S. President Donald Trump blamed the crash on diversity, equity, and inclusion policies that may have factored into the hiring of air traffic controllers.
My administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent.
A team of investigators from Canada are also on site to help out. The Trump administration says it won't rest until it has answers. Caroline Bargut, CBC News, Washington.
And we do want to make a correction to an earlier version of this story that ran at 6 tonight. It stated that former U.S. junior figure skating champion Maxim Nomov had died in the crash. The 23-year-old, in fact, flew home on Monday and was not on that American Airlines flight with his parents. All right, Ontario's political leaders hit the road for the second day of campaigning today, with the conversation once again driven by policy decisions being made south of the border. Lane Harrison has those details.
At Doug Ford's campaign stop in London, it's clear the 47th American president continues to cast a long shadow over Ontario's election trail.
Even if President Trump tears up America's commitment to the auto industry, we will not.
The PC leader pledging to uphold investments in electric vehicle plants, as Donald Trump looks to end programs that provided a tax credit for EV purchases and turn away from Canadian-made cars by boosting domestic production, which has some worried the EV market may slow down.
We're very confident that that market's going to continue to grow, and we'll do whatever it takes to protect the workers. And for any reason, if they need retraining for other sectors, we're investing into that training.
The provincial government has spent hundreds of millions to bring EV manufacturing to Ontario, making recent deals with Volkswagen in St. Thomas and Stellantis in Windsor.
That's so west!
At her campaign bus launch today, NDP leader Marit Stiles says she wants to support workers.
But I do sense that Doug Ford put a lot of eggs in one basket, and I have some concerns about that. I mean, as we've seen, Doug Ford does not make good deals for Ontario generally, and I'm going to be looking very carefully at the details of the deals ahead.
At Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie's campaign office opening, the business-minded candidate says Ontario needs to diversify its economy.
I stole deals that were going to U.S. states like New Jersey and brought them here to Canada, brought them to Ontario, and brought them to Mississauga. And that's what I would do, try to diversify our economy. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about EV batteries, what's going to happen south of the border.
Side door or front door, you think?
Meanwhile, Green Party leader Mike Schreiner, who's crisscrossing the province in a branded electric vehicle, spent the day meeting with voters near Guelph. Thursday was the second day of a 28-day campaign to elect the next government of Ontario. An election Ford has said is needed to fight back against the president, who has influenced much of the campaign messaging so far. Voters will get to go to the polls on February 27th. Lane Harrison, CBC News, Toronto.
The date of Donald Trump's threatened tariffs is just a couple days away, and he doesn't appear to be walking back on that. The U.S. president once again saying he plans to hit Canada with a 25% tariff. Ashley Burke looks at what officials here are doing to avoid a trade war.
It's a show of force for an audience of one. Canada trying to convince Donald Trump the border's secure, this time with new Black Hawk helicopters and talks about arrests.
The RCMP has successfully charged a few human smugglers, and as we speak, there are more files being reviewed by the prosecutor.
Tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 25%. That's coming on Saturday? That's coming on the first Saturday.
The U.S. president once again today threatening 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
Because we have very big deficits with those countries, those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
He also reiterated that it's because of human smuggling and fentanyl he says is entering the U.S. from both countries.
Not only we have a strong border, but the billion-dollar investment we've done on behalf of Canadians to secure our border is a testament to the fact that we want to engage in a respectful way with our American friends.
With the clock ticking, ministers are in D.C. trying to stop the tariffs, and contingency plans are underway back home in case they can't.
The government of Canada is prepared. The government of Canada will retaliate. The government of Canada will protect workers.
Some mayors at border towns calling on Canadians to help too by boycotting American goods.
Start sending a signal to our U.S. neighbors that, we have purchasing power as well.
Let's put in place supports before the worst happens.
The leader of the NDP doubling down, calling on the Prime Minister to recall Parliament to pass legislation to protect workers and businesses if Trump goes ahead.
If the Liberals think that they can wait 2 months before they bring in legislation, they are wrong. That would allow workers to suffer for 2 months.
Government sources say there's no plan to recall Parliament early, but that Ottawa is working on a multi-billion-dollar relief package. The Prime Minister is expected to meet with the Canada-U.S. Council tomorrow to prepare for whatever Trump does next. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Toronto police are investigating after a botched jewelry store robbery in Scarborough last night. Video obtained by CBC Toronto shows the would-be thieves smashing through the storefront with a truck, but fleeing moments after. Dale Manukduk has this story.
Around 6:30 Wednesday night, a black pickup truck is seen reversing into the front of Mayora Jewelers along Eglinton Avenue near Brimley Road. Thieves attempt to gain entry but can't. The truck hits the store twice more, eventually breaking through on the third attempt and gets lodged into the storefront. A group of 4 suspects try to get in again, but the truck is blocking the way, so they, along with the truck driver, flee.
My dad has had the store for like over 30 years. I've been here ever since I was a baby, so it's so heartbreaking to see something like this happen.
CBC Toronto has agreed to withhold the identity of the store owner's daughter due to safety concerns. She says her father, brother, and uncle were all inside when the robbery attempt went down.
I was at home doing homework, and then my brother calls me. He starts freaking out. All those people, they smashed a car inside the store, and I'm like, what do you mean?
When police did arrive, they found the truck smashed through the storefront and also a broken gas main.
With the gas leak, officers did evacuate the plaza, and Enbridge was contacted. They arrived fairly quickly and shut off the gas, and again, no injuries were obtained or were received in regards to the gas.
A first-ever report from the Canadian Live Music Association is showing just how much. It also revealed stats showing where the industry could use a boost. Alicia Song has the details.
Live music is back in a big way since the pandemic walloped ticket sales. That's according to 2023's numbers from the Live Music Association, which show the Canadian live music industry generated $10.9 billion in 2023 and $3.7 billion in tax dollars. And good news for the dedicated folks working the gigs, since the industry generated more than 101,000 jobs. Those are the highs, but there can be lows in the industry. Take it from a small venue owner.
The per head cost, what people are spending when they're going out, is much less.
And when people spend hundreds of dollars on tickets when big international acts come into town, Eras Tour, well, that means less money to spend on more local shows at smaller venues.
I get a lot of comments when people come to sold out shows. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing. Oh, they're making tons of money. But they don't necessarily see the shows when they're, 10% sold and you still have the same amount of staff on, but you still want to do the show.
And that trickles down to the artists who play these venues, like local singer-songwriter Amanda Walther.
When I started, there were so many small venues all over the city, and it was exciting. You could see people before they blew up.
And while the cost of living is straining fans, the cost of operating is straining venues that are valuable to the local scene.
Live is the only way to make a living for the smaller acts like myself. And if there are fewer venues, it's going to be a lot harder for us to make it.
And that brings us to why this report from the Canadian Live Music Association matters.
To level set and amplify the power and impact of live music for the benefit of artists and workers and Canadians and music fans here at home and around the world.
If we create policy to incentivize additional activity in the music tourism space, we can grow that number. And that is good for the live music industry, it's good for artists, and it's good for Canadians.
They aim to use the industry numbers to drum up more private sector sponsorships of live events and get governments to engage in supporting more live music initiatives. Alicia Song, CBC News, Toronto.
A Hamilton man says he'd be dead if it weren't for the teen who rescued him from a burning tent. Sean Goodwin had been living at a park encampment when a fire broke out earlier this month. A 17-year-old Zeke Fox saw the smoke and rushed over to help. As the pair continue to recover from that traumatic night, they say they formed a close bond and unlikely friendship. Samantha Beatty has their story.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Zach.
How are you?
Good.
How you been?
Good. I got a couple skin grafts off the other day, so yep, they say everything's looking really good.
Sean Goodwin recovers in the hospital's burn unit from a dangerous fire where he nearly died, if not for 17-year-old Zeke Fox.
I'd be dead. Yeah, I'd be kaput for sure.
The fire started around 11 p.m. on January 5th. The cause remains unknown. This is a spot at Bayfront Park where Goodwin says he lived in a tent for about 2 years. On the night of the fire, Fox saw the smoke, ran across the field, and dragged Goodwin out of the tent into safety.
All I could feel was heat, and all I could see was fire. It was just straight fire. I couldn't see anything else. The smoke was very thick and heavy. And then I found Sean. He was stuck, so I managed to drag him out and roll him in the snow. And at that point, when I got him out, I turned around and the tent was already almost gone.
Right on, bro.
Both were taken to hospital where Goodwin, 53, is still recovering.
Zeke's actions certainly saved this individual his life and saved him from additional injury. So he, did what he did to save a person that he didn't even know, and that's just truly amazing.
That's good.
Fox says that while he's mostly recovered from the fire physically, he's still processing it emotionally. What's helped is his newfound friendship with Goodwin.
I felt so close to him after the fire. You go through something like that with someone, and you feel like that you're almost, I guess you could say, almost family with them.
I think I'm gonna have like a little brother figure in my life.
I think me and you have like the same thing.
Yep.
All the fishing, camping, hunting, all that.
Yep, for sure.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
Goodwin's been homeless on and off for years and hopes that will change soon.
My hopes is to get into some type of housing, something that I can lock my door and walk away and feel secure. That's all I want.
Fox says he'll be there to help in any way he can. Samantha Beatty, CBC News, Hamilton.
At their headquarters today to kick off Black History Month.
Black History Month provides an opportunity to highlight the contributions of Black people and to celebrate their incredible achievements. Our service is made up of members from diverse backgrounds that reflect the diversity of our incredible city.
The Pan-African flag was raised just outside the building as part of the ceremony. Now, highlighting this year's theme of Women of Excellence, Staff Superintendent Kelly Skinner was given the Trailblazer Award. It was established last year in honor of retired Sergeant Terry James, the first Black woman to be promoted to that role. Events marking Black History Month will take place in the city throughout February, as they have been every year since 1979. Well, it is officially Lunar New Year, and celebrations are happening across the GTA. Tonight, community members were at Toronto City Hall to usher in the Year of the Snake. Our Tyreek Reed was there.
Lunar New Year is all about celebrating our heritage and culture, and especially parts of our culture that may be, I don't want to say missed, but not as prominent as other aspects that you see all the time.
Dancers, musicians, and members of Toronto's East Asian community gathering at City Hall tonight to ring in the Lunar New Year. The Lunar New Year began on Wednesday. This year is the Year of the Snake.
So what we're also looking at the Year of the Snake is about resilient, longevity, and flexible. So we are looking for this year to be very prosperous, and also people can adapt to changes.
This celebration was organized in partnership with the city for the very first time, with Mayor Olivia Chow joining the festivities to ring in the new year.
大家祝蛇年新年好運，財源廣進，心想事成，身體健康。What did I just say? I said that I wish you in the Year of the Snake good health, may all your wishes come true, and good fortune.
This year I'm looking forward to perform more, have fun. I'm looking forward to happiness.
Honestly, just developing personal relationships, hopefully more prosperity and fortune comes in, family gets tighter, team gets better, everything good that could happen, we hope that it does.
If you missed this celebration, the Chinese Cultural Center will be hosting more over the next 2 weeks. Tyreek Reed, CBC News, Toronto.
And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And we leave you now with more of that Lunar New Year celebration at City Hall this evening. Have a great night, everyone.